Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another video. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to do a tutorial or tips for how to play, how to know that you are in Russia. So one big thing that we have already here is these birch trees that are common across almost the entire nation. Otherwise, this round especially is quite a hard one. But I suppose that we are somewhere in Russia. Yeah, we are. Um, so this one is also the Russia was former, like the map name was former part of the Soviet Union, and these kind of building apartment is very common for that communist uh, lifestyle or politics. So it's often hard to know between the countries. The Baltics don't have really these bigger houses because it's quite small. But Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and also some of the previous communist or eastern states in Europe. But for this one, you have a very known square shape on the side mirrors and also the roof rack, which tells you that you are in Kazakhstan, even if the houses look very Russian, even if you have the Cyrillic alphabet, which also a good clue. You are still going to be in Kyrgyzstan. So here's another big one. So at the back here, we got a very long antenna with kind of a wire going around it all the way down, is at least how I look at it, which is also a way to know that it's Russia, um, and also that is applicable for Ukraine, and the same goes for this type of A-frame pole made out of concrete. But the tell here to know that it's not Ukraine, I would say, is that um, the car on the back here should be of a more red um, color if it is Ukraine, but I also think that we're going to be towards this west coast, yeah. And that also is also very helpful, knowing the kind of areas around it where it could be. So this is kind of the redder color that you have in Ukraine. Yeah, this is red, I think, the red car. It can sometimes, or I confuse it with the brake lights on the car. But that is not a mistake you should do. Well, I can say that, but um, so here we got also this kind of, I don't really know what it is, gas pipes or something, which I believe is a bit more Russian, and also these kind of houses also is quite unique for Russia. I don't know how to describe it, but um, and get to learn them, and that will be hugely uh, a huge help. So yes, down in the south there, not too much to worry about. And here's also a big one for Russia. Like uh, this chevron, it's Eastern um, Europe or something like that. But also this kind of big intersection in most of the European countries, you would see just the two sides of the road, but here you have this massive space in the corner, as well as this gas pipe again, and it's even bigger down here, um, which would tell you that you are in Russia. Another one is this yellow bordered mine. It's quite usual in Eastern Europe, like I think Romania and Ukraine also has it, like this sign, but Russia also has this yellow and white crossing in the road, which could also be seen in Kazakhstan, but Kazakhstan has another car. I'll probably come to that later. And then you got the Cyrillic script up here as well. Otherwise, quite a difficult round, I would say. But this could well be in Ukraine, actually. It looks a bit older, yeah, 2019. We don't see too much of the car. Um, so I think we're going to be just over in that western Russia region. And again, here, nothing really helpful. But often confused. Russia can be confused with its neighbors, of course, but also I feel like Canada and the US. So here is also a very helpful one. Like the central lines are white all across, and then the old footage as well. Probably probably would see new ones in Canada, but so I suppose that this is more Russian footage. And again, like an Orthodox, or again, we haven't seen this one before, but Orthodox style church here, I would say. And again, these houses actually look fairly new, but still quite Soviet looking. And then we also have this sign that says stop. And here we got a prime example of that I talked about earlier, the very big intersection, which is quite specific for Russia. So this could possibly be confused with Russia, but you shouldn't do that because you have this bollard with the yellow or kind of in the back you see here orange um, reflector, and if I'm not mistaken, should be left here. Yeah. Again, if you confuse it with that, this could be like the Saskatchewan or Manitoba plains. I think the bit of poorer road quality, but still asphalt, is quite helpful for knowing that it is Russia. And here I would go with this great, like here it's a big plain with like 200 meters of elevation, maximum elevation in that entire region. So a very flat region up there, and maybe not as much trees either. And again, these trees with I haven't actually talked about them, but I think this is also quite helpful with these pines that have quite red wood, and also the birch trees. But this redwood always gives me a feeling of Russia. Some hills there in the back, but nothing drives you towards Russia. And also these kind of very thin reflectors. This is a Russian bollard, but it looks like the German bollard, but this one is a bit thinner, I would say. And it's complete. Oh, it's red on the backside, yeah. And again, very big intersection. Gonna go towards the east here. And here we got the red car again. But is it Russia? Because Russia also has the red car a little bit. And I think we're going to be in Russia because Ukraine also have that help of they are not a EU country, but they have a blue stripe. No, it was Ukraine. Ukraine typically on their car has a bit of a blue stripe, and we got this is also a Russian bollard, but we got this gas pipe again. Yeah, here we got a big one as well. These black and white railings, and also the big intersection, which is a big one. Um, but also the antenna. So what I often do in Russia is I look at different options, and if none of them suits if one thing that I see eliminates like Ukraine, yeah, then I know that it's not going to be in Ukraine. Um, and often you can pick up like 3 or 4 clues to like eliminate. Maybe there's a hill, so you eliminate the Baltics, um, and you don't have the antenna, so you maybe eliminate Ukraine. In Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan has the wrong cars, so you know it's Russia or something like that. that's often what I do. And the difficult ones then um, becomes the gravel roads, which can be easily confused with Canada and stuff like that. But otherwise, the biggest ones, just the kind of big intersections. Of course, the language, which is at least the scripture is a big one. And this one actually is going to be Estonia, even if it was older footage and this chevron, it is. But then you have the help of, at least in moving, you will probably always find a language, and that could also eliminate the Baltics because they don't have Cyrillic. And this also looks quite interesting. So this landscape really reminds me of Kazakhstan, but then you haven't got the car for Kazakhstan. So then it would probably be down towards this region, and it is just further south. So for bigger like Metacluse and stuff like that, I would go maybe train on. There's a website called Plunkit, which is very helpful, and also practicing it on the Plunkit Russia map. So I reckon that these little leaves thingies and that they are on this island. Yeah, but that is basically how I would play Russia, or what I think when I see something looking like Russia. Hope that helped, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.